Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today we're talking about one of the coolest types in the Pokemon TCG right now, in my opinion, and in the future that is going to be even cooler, and that is the Fighting type. Fighting type is honestly currently not super good. I mean, we see some decks playing Fighting Energy that are good, but really none of these are actually fighting decks, like Goldengo, EX, Raging Bull EX, Sterilage EX, Mega Absol EX, Mega Kangaskhan EX. Um, anything else, Pidgeot EX, these Pokemon, none of those are fighting types, right? There is Mega Lucario EX, and Mega Lucario EX is fine, right? This card is okay, and I think it's going to be, with all the supporting pieces around it, going to be pretty good post rotation. I've talked about that in a few different occasions, talking about post rotation, which has happened in Japan. But today we're going to talk about the fighting in standard and how it's getting better with rotation. I will say Gardevoir EX is rotating. That's presumably pretty good for it. Yes, regular Alakazam is like still in format. It's like fine, certainly not as good as Gardevoir. I don't even know if it's getting better with rotation. Theoretically, it is, but based on tournament results, it looks kind of the same. But that doesn't even hit weakness, and there's also a way to counter it, which we'll talk about. But ultimately, meta-wise, it is getting better. But on top of that, it's actually getting better cards. But right now, we have some pretty good fighting cards. First of all, we have Fighting Gong. Fighting Gong is, I don't know which of these is the best, to be honest. And these are all to support Mega Lucario in Mega Evolution. Mega Lucario is one of the big cards from this set. As I said, it's not super good. It's okay, but it's a vessel for the really powerful cards to support it. Fighting Gong is an item. This is a um pseudo reprint. We've seen a bunch of cards like this that are trainer cards or something like that that are essentially the same as previous trainers, except they do something for a different type. Fighting Gong here obviously helps fighting Pokemon, and what it does is it searches for basic energy or basic Pokemon of the fighting type here and puts it into your hand, which is super good. We've seen this for Grass, we've seen this for Psychic, and now we have it for fighting again in Mega Evolution, the base set there. Fighting Gong has seen a bunch of play in Goldengo and Serial Edge, and then of course actual fighting decks as well. But it's very powerful. Well, I guess more so, it's very consistent, right? It gets you basic Pokemon or basic energy, and Nest Ball is very good, right? Getting you any basic. But this gets you, if you're playing all fighting, that gets you any basic. It's better than Nest Ball when it goes to your hand, which is presumably almost always better. And on top of that, it also gets you potentially an energy instead, right? So it's versatile. It's not some crazy powerhouse in the sense that it's getting you everything you need, but it gets you something. It's obviously very good for consistency. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but it definitely is very good. The card that Fighting Young is primarily paired with is Lunatone. There is Solrock as well. Solrock isn't really a supporting piece. I mean, it's not a main attacker, I suppose. I was going to scroll through to find the deck, but the Blood Moon Ursaluna deck plays Solrock as a pretty important piece to it, but you need Lunatone and Solrock together, right? Neither of them do anything without the other, really. But Lunatone lets you draw 3 cards every single turn if you discard a fighting energy from your hand to do so, which is quite nice. Drawing 3 cards is good if it's at a low cost, low commitment. Lunatone's pretty low commitment. Yes, you need 2 bench slots, you need an energy to discard, but these are not too difficult to acquire. So Lunatone is just a pretty good card. Well, it's a very good card, right? It's a very, very good card, and it's, I'd say, pretty good in decks that aren't fighting. In fighting decks, it's like absurdly good. In a deck like Goldengo, Serial Edge, you need to like kind of make room for it, so you are making some sacrifices. Kind of like Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory is a good card, but you need to make sacrifices in a deck like Gardevoir, right? You're not playing Dark Energies. Normally, you need to force those in there. But this is so good. Getting a ton of draw throughout the course of the game. This is honestly, I'm interested in hearing people's thoughts in the comment section on this take. Like, it might be the best draw engine in the game. I mean, its issue is that it doesn't work if you don't have energies in your hand. So if you get hit by a hand disruption card like Iono, there's a good chance it won't get you out of that super easily. But it is pretty good. I mean, you don't need to get knocked out like Pheasantipty EX, and it is on a basic, so it's very, very good. It can be used turn one. It's just amazing. And then the third card from Mega Evolution that was a fighting type support card that was very good was Premium Power Pro. Premium Power Pro is the card, I think, of these that's seen the least impactful play. It's seen some play within Goldengo. It's okay within Goldengo, right? For Solrock, it can be used in some situations. That being said, I'd say it's relatively situational. It's kind of meh. it's not like bad. I don't know. It's not that good, right? Like it's obviously not as good as Lunatone. It's obviously not as good as Fighting Gong, right? Those cards are like super good in the deck. It's probably not as good as Soul Rock either. I mean, it's there to support Soul Rock, right? And Soul Rock is like fine. I mean, it's like kind of good, but it certainly wouldn't be seeing play without Lunatone or much. But anyways, Premium Power Pro increase the damage you do on an item by 30. Your fighting Pokemon, specifically to your points active, and fighting Pokemon. Oh, didn't say this. If you didn't know this, fighting. So the types generally kind of have themes. A lot of them are pretty loose. Fighting is generally just like good raw stats, specifically big damage. I guess if you also didn't know, the Pokemon TCG obviously it has 10 types, which is obviously the best number of types. And if you didn't know that, you should subscribe to 10 types, right? But in all seriousness, it's got 10 types, right? And then the video game has a bunch more types. Not every type is one to one. There are some that are one to, or there are some like fire is type in the TCG and the video game, and essentially every fire type in the TCG is a fire type in the video game, and vice versa. On the other hand, you have a type like Psychic. Psychic Pokemon in the TCG are your psychic type Pokemon in the video game are generally psychic types in the TCG, but psychic types in the TCG aren't all psychics in the video game. Some of them are fairies, some of them are, I think, ghost. Anyway, so fighting type Pokemon from the video game generally are focused on big damage, that are like more efficient attacks, things like that. That's kind of what we see with Mega Lucario. It's doing big damage. It's not like super expensive. And then you have the ground and rock type Pokemon. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I have like no idea what Pokemon are ground or rock type. Like the difference between the two. If someone could explain that in comments, that would also be useful. But anyways, they also have the same weaknesses as each other, but different than fighting from the video game. They're weak to grass versus psychic with the fighting types. But anyways, they have these like big attacks that are generally focused on big damage for high energy costs. So if we look at some cards in standard, let's see. Can I type this? There we go. So some of these aren't quite falling into that area, but something like Onyx, it's pretty expensive here. Obviously, Lunatone and Slark don't fit within that perfectly. Not everything fits within that, but Garganacl, kind of expensive here. A bunch of these cards are kind of expensive for big damage. This isn't like all the time, but you will see it sometimes. And like big equipment like Mamoswine, it's like a big Pokemon. You think of big Pokemon versus the psychic types, you think of I'd say a little faster. And generally being faster is better. So yeah, I'd say these cards are better than the ones that are weak to grass. And there's just a bit of a tangent here. I almost said like Greninja, but that's a horrible example. But Premium Power Pro goes to the idea of doing more damage, but hasn't seen that much play because, as I said, fighting types haven't been super good as attackers. That being said, there's some good new fighting type cards, and Mega Lucario I think is going to be better, and you're just focusing on Mega Lucario as this big damage Pokemon. Right now in Standard, we've been talking about Goldengo. Goldengo does big damage for 1 energy, kind of it's 1 energy on your board. Mega Lucario does less damage for more energy and gives up more prizes, which is like bad, but Goldengo is leaving the format, and so Premium Power Pro Mega Lucario EX is very powerful. This deck in Japan has been doing really well in tournaments. It's arguably in the top tier right now. It might honestly maybe be the best deck in Japan. I don't know. I made a video like on Fossil, like breaking down the decks. I made one like day one as well, but I'd say maybe a week or two and I'll make another one and we'll kind of take a look at where things have settled. But Mega Lucario is being really good as this really powerful, relatively efficient Pokemon, seeing less ways to one-shot it, and less other Pokemon that are taking one-shots on others as well. So Mega Lucario does something more special, and Premium Power Pro is really a way to do that. Premium Power Pro is also another card here that we've seen in the past. We saw Electro Power, which is the same thing but for Lightning, and Electro Power was very good as well. I mean, Premium Power Pro is proving itself to be a good card, but not like an absurd card so far. Electro Power was like kind of crazy, and then there was also Power Tablet. Power Tablet was for Fusion Strike Pokemon. It's the same thing, doing 30 more damage on an item. I will say power levels have gone up a little since then, but I would not say it's like a huge power boost. I mean, Eternatus VMAX was at a similar era as VMAX has the same HP as Mega Lucario and actually does the same amount of damage as well. But if you Power Tablet, there we go. That card was very good as well, but that was like different. That deck is one of the best decks ever, probably with one of the best support Pokemon, if not, in my opinion, potentially the best support Pokemon ever. But yeah, Premium Power Pro certainly makes the package of the three of these, Prima Power Pro, Lunatone, and Fighting Gong, are all amazing. I will say the three cards coming out, which by the way are coming out, they are out in Japan, as I said, but they are coming out in perfect order, which is Nile Zero, or I've seen a bunch of different translations in Japan. They are not in Ascended Heroes, which is coming out. What's today? I think it's coming out today in live. It's actually, I think it's out in live. Originally the time was different. I think that's to do with daylight savings or something. But yeah, it's that says out today, not these new cards, which are from Perfect Order, including the first card here, which is Barbarical. By the way, these are from PokemonProxies.com. It says it on the card, but I always get questions about it. That's the website that has these cards. Unlike this one, these are limitless. This is like the official version of it. This is what what it actually looks like. This isn't, but Barbarical here. It's a stage 1. Barbarical is a card that is it's not seeing too much play in Japan right now, but I do think it's a pretty decent card. It's an ability once during a turn. You may attach a basic fighting from your hand to one of your fighting Pokemon. We've seen Barbarical, or we've seen cards like this, right? With Electric or Zadu maybe, or I'm trying to think of another one. I'm blanking on it. I mean, it's kind of like Armouge. Calling it like Armouge is more of a stretch than some of those other ones there. Um, or Toxtricity. That's the other one I was thinking of. I would say all those are arguably better than Barbarical, and they're not like absurd. But I mean, cards like this are pretty decent. The stage ones that accelerate energy every turn. Again, it's not broken, you need the energy in your hand, but you have Fighting Gong, and getting extra energy is always nice. Mega Lucario EX, as I said, it's more energy than Gholdengo EX on board. It is 2, but Barbarical can get you there. As I said, Barbarical's not seeing too much play in Japan right now, just looking at it. This is some. It's mostly seen play with Okidogi actually as well. I guess I should mention there was a new Mega Zygarde. So these are the new cards here are actually meant to support the Mega Zygarde. That being said, I think Mega Zygarde EX is like kind of terrible. It has the first attack, which is fine. It has a lot of HP, I will say. Then it has the second attack, which is super expensive and like super inconsistent. And then it has this tool, which gives you another attack, which is like fine. But it is a tool. It's expensive. I was talking about big attacks. And yeah, this is like the definition of like the big Pokemon. It's got the quote cheap attack for 3 energy. It's got the medium attack for 4 energy, which is 350, and then the huge attack, which does some amount of damage, hopefully, for 5 energy. So, these cards are kind of bad. But Barbarical, I think, is interesting for something like Mega Lucario. You look at it in Okidogi. Okidogi is cool. Okidogi is fun, but it's kind of silly, right? And then I mean, I don't know. Maybe something in the future will come out that Barbarical will be good with. Just simply accelerating energy is going to be good. On to stage 1, it's a little sketchy, but definitely it's been good at points, right? I think Barbarical will be an okay card. For the most part, cards like this in recent memory have been fine. Those ones I listed off earlier, like Electric or whatever, they're okay. Kind of depends on what's around them, but they're decent support Pokemon. Then we have 2 more trainers / special energy. The first one is Tarragon. This is another card that's like a pseudo reprint of a card that's just a different type. We got Tarragon, which is a supporter, putting forward any combination of Pokemon and basic energy from your discard into your hand. The type here, of course, is fighting. We've seen this on most recently Psychic in Standard right now with Tulip. Not in Japan because it's rotating, but Tulip is fine, I guess. Tulip isn't super good. It's seen play in... Oh, yes, he's playing Alakazam. I guess mostly Alakazam. In a deck like Gardevoir, it doesn't really fit, like, at all. Alakazam, it's like decent. It's pretty good, to be honest. It recovers a bunch of Pokemon, but again, it is kind of... It's a lot of cards, but also an item gets you most of the value. Usually, you usually don't need that many cards back, so you can just play Night Stretcher and get 1 card back, and that's like maybe half as good. It's not a quarter as good. Usually, you don't need all 4. So Night Stretcher is like a similar power level, but then it's also an item, right? So that's going to be a lot better there. That being said, Tarragon could be good if you're using something like the Barbarical. You're very energy hungry there, so Tarragon will be able to help you get your energies and your Pokemon to your hand. This is interesting with Blood Moon Ursa. Wait, yeah, that card's not rotating, right? Yeah, Blood Moon Ursaluna, which has actually seen some play with Solrock, which is pretty interesting as like an attacking option there. This deck's not super good, but we actually saw Clara. Clara is not the same. It's actually, like, realistically, it's worse than Tarragon or Tulip. It's just not type specific, so it's better in that way, right? But if it is type specific, and it's the right type, then Tarragon should do the job, and that's with Blood Moon Ursa Luna. You need 2 fighting in your hand. You obviously Blood Moon Ursa Luna, then you probably need the 3rd fighting to attach. So you can just Tarragon, get that right all into your hand, and be able to stream these attacks easier, which is cool. I haven't really played with Blood Moon Ursa Luna. I haven't really heard of people or seen people playing Blood Moon Ursa Luna very much either, to be honest. It's like kind of fun, but Tarragon theoretically is super good for that deck, and something kind of similar it would be good for. But with something like this, it's perfect. So Tarragon, though, just in general fighting deck, it's like okay. It might see play, and it's a nice option to have. I don't know if this card will be good, but it is interesting, and I do think it is worth mentioning here as a nice fighting support piece. The last card we have here is Rock Fighting Energy. Rock Fighting Energy is okay. It's pretty interesting. This is a cycle of special energies. We've currently seen 3 of them, which are going to be in perfect order, which will be the fighting one, the grass one, which just gives like 20 more HP, which is like okay, I guess. I don't really expect it to see play because grass is pretty based around T-Muscle Garpani EX, and it doesn't really work there. As well as like Mega Venusaur EX, maybe Meganium EX, maybe Mega Meganium EX, or sorry, Meganium, which is not an EX, or Mega Meganium EX with Meganium and some different things. Anyways, those all need basic energies, essentially, so they don't really work with special energies there. And then the Psychic one is super good. I made a whole video on it. That card's super sick. And I may make another video actually talking about something that could be very meaningful with that as well. But Rock Fighting here is also interesting here. It's a fighting energy. These energies are all fighting. I will say I do expect the other types to get energies in the next couple of sets. I can't like confirm that or anything. I don't actually know if that's the case, but that would make sense. Most recently, I believe we saw a full set of these in the early Sword and Shield era. Let's see. I'll pull up the special energies, and we saw, yeah, every type got one, except for Dragon. I don't even think there were any Dragon Pokemon printed in any of these sets, though. Dragon was like kind of cut for the game at the time. It was kind of weird. I mean, that like happens every other set, to be honest. But we saw all the types, including colorless, so that was interesting. Previously, before that, we saw one. Oh yeah, this did have one for Dragon. We had Dragon. Yeah, there's a grass. I think there was every type. Oh, metal. There are like split across pages. Yeah, we had one for this type. This mysterious and unnamed type there. But rock fighting energy, what it does. This is also like a pseudo reprint of Wash Water and Flash. No, not Flash. Is this a reprint of one of the older ones? This is really bugging me. I suppose I should like probably know this. It's not the fairy one, is it? Oh, it is the fairy one. Yeah, stopping effects of attacks done to it, which does not stop damage, right? It does not remove existing effects. So the way this actually works, if you're not familiar, an effect of an attack would be there's a few different examples from your opponent's Pokemon, right? So this would be a lot of control decks have things like this. So if we pull up Pidgeot Control, oh wait, searching Pidgeot EX won't find it, will it? Okay, Pidgeot Control, we can see that it's running a Pokemon. It's running a bunch of different Pokemon, right, that all have different attacks. You get Elgium, which moves energy off of your active. You have Ethan Sudowoodo or Knackley, which stops you from retreating. You have Turtonator discarding energy. And you have, is there another one here? Maybe not. Oh, Mega Absolute EX, sure. Mega Absolute EX instantly knocks you out. That's an effective attack done to the Pokemon. What's not an effect of the attack done to the Pokemon? As the damage is not an effect. Damage counters, placing damage counters is an effect through the use of like Dragapult EX or something. Or Alakazam. This stops Alakazam. This like completely stops Alakazam. They do run Enhanced Tamer to stop Mist Energy, which is like the same thing as this. This is also the same as Mist Energy, so if you really need the effect, you do have Mist Energy right now, and if you don't really need the effect, then do you really need this card? I don't know, but it's interesting. There also are some ways to search out special energies with Closest Tenacity or Hilda, which are like okay cards, and with some of the better supporters and trainers rotating out, they could be good. I don't know, but or I don't know how, specifically with rock fighting here, but there are effects of attacks done to your Pokemon. There are also effects of attacks done to like you. Also, this doesn't stop effects of abilities, so those things wouldn't be stopped. Like Mega Absolute EX's second attack isn't stopped or anything like that. But if you have any questions, ask in the comment section. People get confused about this all the time. It's a little weird. Generally, it's not that weird, but sometimes it is very weird. But ultimately, in terms of how good this card is, it's it's fine, right? It's a fine card. It's not a crazy card, but it could be good. I could see it seeing play. It could be, I guess, amazing if a deck like Alexam is like the best second format or something like that. This is just like essentially an auto win. I mean, if they get rid of it, then it's not an auto win, but if they don't, it is. But anyways, tell me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are on these 3 new fighting cards: Rock Fighting Energy, Tarragon, and Barbarical. If you think they're good, if you think they're bad, if you think they're fine, and what you think fighting will look like post rotation. As I said, my Lucario is doing pretty well, but I'm really interested in seeing. But I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment your thoughts down below. But I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.